Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. How are you, man?
Not too bad.
Awesome. So yeah, guys, Joe's going to be moderating the Q&A section of the development office hours. So we wanted to introduce him. Um, we've also got Matt. Matt, you want to give a wave so everybody can see you? Yeah. So Matt is our front-end developer. And we've got Phil, who's our senior blockchain developer. Phil, yeah. Okay, so welcome to the first development office hours for Benchmark Protocol. We're happy to have everybody here. I think that the community has been really the biggest asset of the entire project, and we're really looking forward also in the Q&A section to get some feedback and ideas. We know we have a lot of developers in the community as well. So we'll go over first a few different slides, show you guys what we've been working on, and then we can open it up for questions at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
oh, sorry. No, sorry about that. Yeah, so just again, welcome everybody. We're really enthusiastic to get everyone's involvement. Can you since I gave you host access, Mir, really quick, can you just unmute Phil? Because you need to manually unmute him.
Okay, let's Phil, can you say something? Because I thought I heard you speaking earlier. Oh, no. Okay, no. Sorry. Ask to unmute.
Hey, thanks, man.
Hey, sorry.
Okay,
good.
great.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
No worries. I just gave you hosting permission really quickly because you're doing the presentation, but I can reclaim that access later if that is easier. Just because you're doing the presentation, right? But I won't take up too much more time. But basically, yeah, again, I'm Joe. I'm joined here with our tech team. So Meir, Matt, and Phil will be able to explain a little bit more of their own backgrounds in due time. I am the head of research, and I do growth hacking and marketing research, particularly for Benchmark Protocol. We just thought it would be a really good idea to continuously update our community on technical matters and give our community an opportunity to ask us questions, things they want to clarify, and give us get your guys' feedback as much as possible. So stay tuned for that. So I'm going to hand it over to Mir, and I'm going to let Meir walk us through what we're going to talk about today. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Great introduction. So welcome everybody to the first development office hours. We'll start off with some slides. So the marketplace lending platform we've been working on, it's very different to the existing lending platforms that you might be familiar with, Compound, Aave, etc., which are pool-based. So this is a fully peer-to-peer lending marketplace where you can create your own lending contract with your own parameters, and then it's up to other people to accept your terms. So this is one of the biggest things we're working on right now. We're in the middle of UI development, both integrating the functionality. We started integrating a proxy contract to deploy lending contracts. Matt, do you want to talk a little bit about how the front end design is going as well? Do I need to unmute? How did he get muted again?
Thank you. Sorry, I hit my space bar by accident, which is a temporary mute on Zoom, I've learned.
No worries.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. My name is Matthew, front-end developer for this. Thanks, everybody, for coming. I'd like to say since the start of building our user interfaces, we've been committed to a good interaction in our user interfaces with a really clear, understandable definition of who we are and what we're offering. For our online customer interfaces and framework libraries, we're always trying to bring things that are dependent, have a lot of support, and promote longevity for our users and our interfaces. We built our main site, dashboard, and the press with React and Grommet, which we think allowed for a really smooth interaction and dependability with ease of being updated as things change and progress. With the marketplace, which Meir just talked about, we upgraded what we think our users are going to be able to use, and we're using React with Next.js, and we're bringing in a framework called Chakra.io. It's going to increase speed. It's going to increase our technology lifespan. And we're hoping that all these varied interfaces promote understandability, dependability, and have a really stylish user interface for our users. We're committed to a really high level of quality. We're always constantly looking for the next best framework and technological way that our users can interact with them. And we're really looking forward to getting your feedback during this office hours and seeing what else we can bring to you guys. So I'm super excited for the next level of technology we're using for the marketplace, and we're hoping to really have it out to you guys.
Yeah, so thanks, Matt. Yeah, so the UI is going great. We're just going to be using the latest technology. We're working on the contracts right now. We're pretty close to being finished with them before we send them out to being audited. So Phil, do you want to talk a little bit about the contract development on your end?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So I'm a senior developer at Benchmark Protocol, and I'm mainly responsible for the smart contracts. And maybe first thing I want to mention is the G token integration. As we are all facing some huge gas problems right now, we thought it would be a good thing to look into that and offer that functionality to our users, at least as a partial solution. Regarding the marketplace itself, it's currently in an internal test phase on testnet. So mainly me and Meir are going through the contract and testing it ourselves for now. Then I think we are quite confident that we will release a public testnet version of the marketplace before we push it over for audit and release it on the mainnet. So yeah, we are really looking forward for your feedbacks to the marketplace so that we can do some little adjustments before we hand it over to the audit. But it's looking great so far.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, I think the gas problem is really big for a lot of users. I talk to people, they say they've been priced out of DeFi at this point just because of gas fees. So it's going to help a lot on that front. And yeah, I guess the other thing to mention is kind of the use case for the marketplace. What kind of differentiates us is we're going to be whitelisting a lot of partner platforms. And these are a lot of tokens, many of which you know, and you probably use if you're into crypto, that don't have access to Aave or Compound or some of the like the top tier exclusive lending platforms. They can't really get through those governance processes. Maybe they're like a top 100 project, but they're towards the bottom of the list, or they're a top like 300 project with really strong community. And a lot of the projects we've been talking to, actually, this is one of the most recommended things from their community is they're like, we don't have, our token is not on any lending platforms. We can't get whitelisted. So when we talked to these different projects, we've got a lot of positive responses so far. And yeah, I think that's going to be a big selling point for this. And then obviously just integrating the Mark token everywhere where possible as well. So I'll go to the next slide.
Maybe if I may emphasize the point that really any ERC20 token can join on our marketplace, right? We don't have any limitations whatsoever in that regard.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. So okay, so dashboard updates. We added the absolute and percentage value to the dashboard charts. It's just helpful, especially when you're looking at the supply charts and everything like that. CSV downloads, so you can download all of the data, not just the supply data, the market cap data, everything. Fully diluted market cap was added as well for the charts and for the number, for the current number. And yeah, we're just going to keep adding more features to the dashboard, keep making it even better over time. And yeah, during the Q&A section at the end of this, please let us know if you have any suggestions on that end as well. Interoperability. So this is a big focus for us. I guess our secret weapon here is XMark. So I don't know how many of you are staking XMark right now, but it's really something we started off as more of a staking mechanism, but it's turned into an operability solution. So XMark does not rebase itself. It's like an LP token, and it gives you a share of a pool of Mark tokens. And that pool of Mark tokens is stored in a smart contract, and it's rebasing constantly. But because XMark token itself does not rebase, it means it's very easy to bridge it onto other platforms. It's very easy to integrate it with existing DeFi apps that don't support rebasing, while taking advantage of kind of the underlying value proposition of the Mark token. So this is kind of our secret weapon where we think we can interoperate faster than a lot of other rebasing tokens. And we've been invited to join some test nets and some really big L1s, L2s, even roll-up platforms. So we're looking at all of those. And we recently completed a Polygon integration. Phil, do you want to maybe expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Polygon is the formerly Matic network. And yeah, I mean, it comes to their quite easy bridging solution. So we were in talks with them, and I mean, we can expect some very important DeFi applications to be soon launching on their platform. At least that is what we are hoping for. For now, it's just really a proof of concept that the bridging of the XMark token is working as intended. So that's very good. But I think for now there isn't really a very good application for us, as we are mainly looking for a DEX. That would be awesome. But I'm quite confident that they will be having a DEX on their platform quite soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Matic is known a lot for NFTs, and they have some interesting stuff there with collateralized NFTs as well, which would be like a future use case.
So really the biggest point here is that we have a proof of concept of the XMark construct, and it's working as intended.
Yeah, exactly. So now it's just a matter of going down the list and integrating with a lot of different platforms. So definitely expect to see a lot of news on this front in the coming weeks. And please let us know during the Q&A period which layer ones do you guys actually use that you would say, like, you know what, I actually use maybe like Serum on Solana, or I use something on Avalanche, or let us know which you know, maybe even Tezos or whatever, which L1s do you guys actually use. Would be really interested to know that. Yeah, so DeFi integrations. So again, using XMark, we can quickly onboard onto lending platforms. We partner with Fortube, and yeah, so just more news coming in the pipeline here. We can't obviously give away all the secrets yet that haven't been announced publicly. This is more of a development discussion, but a lot of integrations we're working on behind the scenes here. And again, we really want to know, like, what DeFi platforms do you guys use yourselves? Which loan platforms do you use? And we'll definitely, when we do like governance proposals, we'll kind of share that with the community so that everybody can see the governance proposal and kind of state their opinion on that as well. Yeah, so algorithm updates, we shortened the stretch period, and we've also done for the first time a variable stretch period. So I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with the stretch period. It's a very important part of Ampleforth's algorithm. Basically, updates to the supplier stretched out over 10 days, which means only like 1/10 of the effect takes place at once, basically. So we're doing a variable stretch period depending on volatility. It's the first time it's being done. We've also updated the formula with the VIX, so it's going to be used for supply expansion only. And yeah, we're going to be progressively decentralizing this whole process of updating the algorithm going forward. Expect to see more governance on that, more decentralized governance. And yeah, we're in the process of sourcing data with Oracle providers as well. So the algorithm is really getting hammered home here, and we're going to be just eventually turning over the whole thing in a decentralized manner. And yeah, lastly, we added the WBTC pair on the press. So that's just a news update for those of you who are degen farmers out there. It's a new pair in the press. And yeah, so we can do a Q&A section. I guess, Joe, did you, I guess if you guys have, how are we going to do this? Is it going to be if people have questions, they can put in the comment section here?
I think that could be one solution. That's not a bad idea either. That, or feel free, if you have that functionality, feel free to if you go to your reactions, there's a button that says raise hand, and you may raise your hand. And when you do that, I will pick on you. Just a friendly reminder that we do have a 40-minute time constraint on this, and we may not be able to get to everyone's questions. However, feel free to follow back with us through Telegram. I think a lot of you have our Telegram community in Telegram communities. We'll be sure to answer every question possible in time. So let me just start by seeing if anyone has any questions. You can message it, or you can raise your hand and I will unmute you so you can ask your question. So let's see. It doesn't appear to anybody. It doesn't appear to be any. Oh, I see Paul P does. So let me unmute Paul here. Hello,
Hey
Paul.
guys. Hi. I've been putting some money in and watching you guys progress, and I think you guys are doing a great job communicating with the small community you built on Telegram. And I had a couple questions. One was, I just checked now, but it's update, but the CSV export that you had on the dashboard, it looked like, I don't know if it was manually updated or a little stale, but it looks like it's up to date now. Is that something that's updated after each rebase, like once a day? Like for my records, if I wanted to.
Yeah, it's updated daily.
Okay.
It's done automatically, so we're not manually doing that. We have a backend system for the dashboard. Just in full transparency, we had a slight issue with that, very temporary outage because of our node endpoint actually started rate limiting us. So
Got
we
it.
had to kind of upgrade that recently. So there was like a few hours when that data was not available, but that's totally fixed now. So we've upgraded our node, and all the data should be automatically generated going forward.
Okay. And could you, so I have my tokens in Mark, and I think I understand Xmark, but I guess one question I have about Xmark is if I were to convert them to Xmark, right, and I get those LP tokens, is this something because your project, I know you're a startup, or I don't know if you want to use that term, but you're going through changes. Is this something where if I commit to Xmark now, and then do I have to keep tabs on your guys' project? Like, because I kind of want to just set it and forget it. If I come back in 6 months, is Xmark going to be replaced with something else? And I have to, or is this something like long-term? I could just convert it to Xmark and then just not worry about it. With the plan.
Yeah, Phil, I saw you were answering that already, so you want to go ahead and take that?
Yeah, you're exactly on point here, Paul. So Xmark will be here forever. I'm very certain of that, and it's you don't have to monitor it. You can just convert your mark into Xmark, and then leave them there. And at any future point in time, you can convert them back. And there are also no potential losses on any gains. You can't miss an opportunity while staying in Xmark compared to conventional mark. Yeah.
Okay.
That's also the reason why we can use it so fluently to adapt to other platforms and bridging, because it functions exactly the same as Mark. Besides that you get the rewards, right?
Okay. And then the I noticed the Xmark is a different. It's not one-to-one with Mark. Is that supposed to be tied to the SDR peg, or is it just fluid on whatever the pool has at the moment?
Exactly. It, as Meir pointed out, it functions like LP tokens. So the Xmark are always just representing your share of the pool, of the entire Xmark pool. So the entire mark that are lying under the pool. So the conversion rate will fluctuate with each new user coming in and with each rebase.
Okay. And then I had one suggestion that you could consider. There was a website for Ampleforth called, I don't know if they sponsored it or if it's somebody made it. Ample, I think it's amplecalc.app is the web URL. I can put it in the chat.
Yeah,
And
please.
it allows somebody, if they theoretically put some money in Ampleforth at a certain date during the last year, and it shows how that would have performed. And Ampleforth has done really well. So anybody who puts a number in there will see that they made a lot of money. But what it does is it simplifies kind of, because there's a lot of calculations that go into it. So I'll put the link in. I don't know if you would do it or maybe encourage a fan to do it or something. But with that data, that might be an on-ramp for people that are trying to figure out how this works. That's what got me excited about the rebase community. And I don't know, something to take a look at. So, all right, thanks.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good future addition for the dashboard. So we'll note that down, and
Okay.
that'll be a future update on the dashboard. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, looks like we have AY.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi.
Yes, hi. Hello from Texas. Just want
Hello.
to say you guys have electricity now. You guys have a great project.
Good to hear. Glad to hear that.
Okay, like all of us, this is early stages, and I got in pretty early with you guys. I like your vision. I had
Great.
a couple questions. Can you talk about in terms of marketing, where you're going with that? Can you comment a little bit about your relationship with DataDash and how is it going with marketing and getting the word out about Benchmark? Because a lot of people are wary because they think these rebase tokens are fly-by-night sort of projects that come in and will be gone. How are we going to let the crypto community know that we're here to stay? So that's my first question. My second question will be about integrating with other non-Ethereum blockchains. You may have commented on that. What's the closest one? Which one do you think we're the closest to in terms of integrating with? And then my third question, if you could just comment really quick, is that a lot of us worry that our marks are not being rebased because ETH Explorer and whatnot, the coin quantity gets frozen, and that leads to a lot of FUD and lots of just concerns. Is there anywhere that you could put in your webpage or frequently asked questions that, hey, this is not necessarily the case, there's nothing wrong with the code? Because that's what people worry about. I got worried about it once in the beginning, very much so that I almost sold everything. Because I was like, okay, it's a new project and I'm not getting the rebases. They're saying they're there, but I've looked in all these different explorers and my marks have not rebased. And then ultimately I had to connect with Ledger to see that my marks actually had changed. That can lead to people worrying and selling, like I almost did. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, let's start with that last question first. I mean, yeah, it's something that's a little bit out of our control, but yeah, we have to do a better job at kind of warning users about that as well. I think that's a great point. So we'll look and see like where can we put some verbiage there. Yeah,
I think you're specifically referencing Etherscan here, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
Etherscan.
Even the ETH Explorer, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And guys, this is David.
Hey, David.
Hey guys, sorry, I was in a meeting, ran a little bit over. I think with Etherscan, we're dealing with a delay in sourcing the data. I think that's relatively commonplace from an infrastructure perspective when you're dealing with rebasing tokens. Is that correct?
No, I had one wallet where it was like 10 days. And the only way that we were able to correctly see that it was rebased properly was finally getting into the ledger and looking into the integrating with Ledger and seeing that it was accurate.
The problem is that Etherscan is just tracking transaction events and not your actual balance. So to see your correct balance, your wallet would have to call the balance off function of the contract. but Etherscan is just tracking token transfers. And
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
No, I totally get it, and I have no doubt about it. But I think we just need to kind of put that somewhere for other users that, hey, don't worry, this is the case. You're fine.
yeah, that's correct. Agreed.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I almost sold everything because I was like, this is a new project. Their code must be faulty.
Yeah, I think in the frequently asked questions for sure, but maybe even somewhere else. Do you
No,
have any ideas exactly where would be a good place to put that?
what do you guys think about it? That's just my comment.
Yeah, we will, definitely.
Thanks.
Yeah, in terms of which which L1s or L2s we're going to be integrating with soon. I mean, we can't really announce like partnerships before they exist, but I would say some of the big ones, we're really looking at L1s that have dexes with a lot of volume on them. So that should probably narrow it down if you're kind of familiar with the market. There's only a few of them that have that.
Yeah,
And
I think it's safe
go
to
ahead.
say that Solana is definitely a proponent as we are collaborating with them. That's one of our partners. So
oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, we're partnering with Solana, so that's a top priority as well. They have the CRM exchange. It's a DEX. Last time I checked, it had well over $5 million in volume. I think it's just going to keep going up. So yeah, anything like that with, you know, L1s with a lot of usage is the top priority, really. And then your first question was, what was your first question again?
with Nicholas Merton. I mean,
Oh,
I can take
yeah.
that. So Nick has been, I mean, he's a subject matter expert, I believe, from a topical perspective, in a slew of different projects, right? And he has a really wide breadth of knowledge when it comes to elastic supply projects. So besides really empowering his user base and spreading the word about Benchmark, he's really opening a lot of doors from a business development perspective. We have a few things in the pipeline that are going to add significant value, and you know, wouldn't be possible without Nick. So he's adding tremendous value.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
And yeah, I mean, also Digifox, right? So that's a wallet integration we did recently. That's kind of, I guess he's involved with that project. So he kind of helped integrate us there.
The first week, when that integration was live, I'm not sure if this was just a snapshot for one day of transaction volume, but Digifox had about $100,000 alone in Mark trading. So, you know, be on the lookout for more integrations like that, more accessibility through different apps on your phone. I mean, we have a lot in the pipeline, as I've said, and we're hiring, we're onboarding more people, and we're trying to expand the breadth of our use cases and get into as many platforms as possible. At the end of the day, we want Mark to be, you know, really accessible to not only the native cryptocurrency market, but retail users. Once we kind of bridge the gap between typical retail usage and it's hard, right? Gas fees are really high, and right now we're just on Uniswap, but we're hoping we kind of plug the issue with gas fees quite soon. So more to come on that.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
So I saw that Paul P raised his hand again and had another question, but we also have gotten a good amount of questions in the chat as well. So I don't know how you guys want to approach that. I see the first one is there a timeline for bringing Mark on TradingView in a proper way or fixing the listing on BitScreener? That is from Philip.
We'll definitely note that and look into that. So TradingView, and what was the other platform?
it's greener.
Bit what?
Screener.
Okay. Yeah, we'll look into that. Always appreciate suggestions from the community in terms of like what you guys use to monitor your assets and everything like that in your portfolio. So we'll note that.
And we'll be happy to follow up with you guys in terms of feedback. We always like to hear from you guys, not just in events like this, but also just going forward. So AY wanted to tell you, Phil, to be careful because there's lizards on your wall. Let's see. Mark said a gentleman named Mark Devine. Maybe he's on brand. Who knows? I'm an LP for Mark ETH. I was wondering if our Mark rewards could be reinvested automatically. It seems that claiming and staking Mark is 2 transactions.
Yeah, maybe I can take that one. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why it's not lightening up. Yeah, that question came up as early as we did our fair launch, like in November or December. That's sadly not really an option. It's technically not possible, as soon as you're claiming your rewards, the entire pool system has to be updated, and that also requires that your funds get withdrawn, right? Oh no, I mean that that these are 2 separate actions. I mean, we could make it from an UI perspective, that you just claim and automatically send the next transaction for staking. But Meir, do you think? I don't think that's really a good solution.
Yeah, I mean, but you still have to claim it, right? So there's no way that as soon as your rewards accrue in the press, it's going to be transferred to Xmark. Because we don't know if users want to do that, first of all. But yeah, I guess, Phil, what you were talking about is when somebody deposits, when somebody stakes LP tokens, they when they add more, it automatically claims their rewards as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think right now it's not possible with our smart contracts. So yeah, it'll have to be 2 different transactions, and yeah, we can't. It's not possible in general with smart contracts to kind of like have something happen automatically without sending it back, right? So let's say you get rewards in 3 days, we can't like automatically create a transaction that's going to send that to another smart contract or something, So
Right.
maybe down the line, there's some solutions like Gelato or whatever, but I think that's like very early days still.
And I guess the question relates to gas fees, but even then, I don't think it would be cheaper to chain these transactions. It would or make some construct inside the contract. It would result in almost the same fees, so there wouldn't be much savings, even if it were possible.
Yeah. Joe, did we get any other questions?
Yeah, there's a few more. I just want to give a heads up that we're probably running out of time soon. I actually thought I might get a notification that we'll get like booted out. See, because Zoom has a time constraint. So if we don't get to your questions, we will make a note of them, and we will be sure to address them in time, and also make sure again that we have the necessary feedback. I think we probably have time for one more question, unless we don't get timed out. So let me see. The next one on the list I see is Zyme asks, what would interoperability look like? Will we see rebates across chains?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we're not taking that approach. Actually, Ampleforth is trying to do that, and it's really been slowing them down. So they have a lot of proposals for that and a lot of integrations they've been working on for many, many, many months. And it's a very hard problem to solve. So what we're doing instead is we're using Xmark for that. So we're going to bring Xmark to other blockchains. And yeah, that pretty much just solves the problem because Xmark doesn't rebase, but it is based on the underlying value of the Mark rebasing token. So at any time, it can just be redeemed for mark, basically. And its only value is that it's redeemed for mark. So really, it's like bringing the value of mark without rebasing.
Okay, let me see. I actually think we pretty much got to all the questions, fortunately. Let me see if I think there might be one more. Do you have an expected, Jordo asked, do you have an expected date on when the marketplace will move into testnet?
Yeah, I mean that as usually with software development, it really depends how it works out, our internal testing. But as it's currently looking quite good, I'm quite sure it will be weeks, not month. So soon, quite soon.
Okay, thanks. I think I see two more, so we might actually be able to wrap this up just in time, fortunately. So I can, yeah, you're welcome, Jordo. So let me really quickly take Samuel's. Have you considered the idea of an airdrop or burn to excite the community? So we have, airdrops are great. There's definitely plenty of potential with those projects. I can't speak to anything in particular, but we're very big on community engagement to get, especially through social media, to expand brand awareness, to get more people onto our platform. So we could definitely, we're all about community engagement in that kind of way. Definitely stay tuned for something like that. That's a really good suggestion, Samuel. And I think lastly, we have from Tom H. Hi guys, is a listing on a CEX on the roadmap in the near future?
Well,
David.
yeah, I mean, technically we're listed in a few sexes, but we wouldn't really recommend using them. In fact, we'd pretty much discourage it. So far, we've been doing really good on Uniswap, but yeah, at some point, I think it's fair to say that that would be a logical next step. But there's no like roadmap date or anything like that, or nothing finalized yet. So yeah, we're just yeah, that's about all we can say at this point. But yeah.
Okay, I think David's gonna take that. He was muted
Oh, is he
again.
muted? Let's unmute him.
He
Yeah.
was just, I just unmuted him.
I'm back. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Oh, listen, like we can't really allude to specifics, right? I mean, there are NDAs in place, and secondly, when we're dealing with a centralized exchange, there are only certain exchanges that are capable of supporting a rebasing token. That being said, that really limits the demographic of potential exchanges that we could onboard to. I alluded to the fact that we have a legal opinion, which will be solidified by early next week. And that's going to lead to more integration. So I think that you could take that as a grain of salt, as a takeaway that we are potentially pretty close to a centralized exchange listing. And we're going to be working with other platforms that potentially require a legal opinion. And these are more, they have more stringent requirements just in terms of, seeing if Mark is a security versus non-security. And that's a big issue right now. And it's pretty clear that we're not a security. We're just getting that in writing. Yeah, I mean, I think you could start looking at some of the bigger platforms. I mean, like crypto.com or blockchain.com. Man, I mean, I think one of our goals one day would be onboarding to like a Coinbase Pro, but I can't allude to the fact that we're in conversation or we have any direct dialogue with these platforms, but that's the end goal, right? We start out small and we facilitate solid trading liquidity, and liquidity is precious, right? We bootstrap in-house and then we start expanding outwards. We take it in baby steps. It's granular to start off with. But in due time, we expand and we expand the scope of our product offering as well simultaneously.
Great. Fortunately, I think we got to all of our questions, surprisingly. Won't connect to, if you were able to look on mobile apps, we would see the higher adoption. Yeah, I think we were able to get to all our questions. Fortunately, we'll send a follow-up, and we're going to be sure to engage the community in this regard going forward. Definitely. Again, we're always happy for the great feedback. We're always happy to for the enthusiasm and the support that we've gotten for you guys. So yeah, it's just an absolute pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure working and serving you guys, and we intend to we intend to continue to do so as long as possible. So that's really that's, I think that pretty much wraps up our first community Q&A on the tech side. Stay tuned for more developments as such. I don't know if there was anything else anyone else wanted to say before we wrap it up.
We actually stay tuned tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Kurt, our Chief Operating Officer, will be hosted by Token Metrics. There's an exclusive interview going on, so stay tuned for that. It's a live interview. Should wrap up our Fridays, right? Nice way to end the week on a good note.
Absolutely. Yeah, so everyone stay tuned for that. Definitely keep following our socials. Keep checking in with us. We love hearing from you guys, and as David said, enjoy your weekend and enjoy Kurt's interview also.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Take care.
Awesome
Cheers.
talk.
Cheers.
Till later.